What's shaking, guys? MagicActivatr here, coach of the Memphis Drizzlies, bringing you guys our Week 1 GBA D-League matchup for Season 3. This week we are up against Danekii, coach of the Roseradenborg. Link to his channel will be in the description, so definitely be sure to go show him some love. But we're rocking out with the post-com this week, which is honestly not my style. I much prefer doing live commentaries. But unfortunately, we had a bit of a scheduling conflict because of time zones and stuff like that. And when we were finally able to have this battle, I had just gotten back from a trip and didn't really have the time to get my full setup ready to do a live commentary. So we're going to have to rock out the post-com this week. I apologize for that. Hopefully, everything will be back on track to do live com starting next week. But anyway, on to the actual battle. And I'm not going to lie, this was a pretty rough week for the Drizzlies. This was a rough week 1, and I've always kind of felt like week 1s are generally pretty hard because it's your first time using your team after the draft, and it's a new league, a new season, that kind of thing. And then for me personally, this time around, a big factor I feel like was that I'm pretty rusty and out of season from competitive battling and such. It's been honestly about a year since I was battling regularly, and that was in the IBL Season 1, and I haven't done a whole lot since. I've done a little bit of 7th gen here and there, but definitely still pretty rusty and out of season, and I think that definitely played a huge factor in this battle and the final results, because honestly I straight up forgot some mechanics that I knew how they worked and everything, but in the heat of the moment and in the battle I kind of forgot because it's just been so long, man. And anyway, I definitely think it had a big impact on the final result of this battle, but you guys are going to get to see how all that plays out here in just a moment. But anyway, as far as the teams go, we were rocking out with Tai Lee, the Mienshao, Boomy, the Landorus T. We got Summer Breeze, our Mega Venusaur, Glitch, the Jolteon, Bellarive, the Milotic, and Paper Cut, the Kartana. And Danekii is bringing Frostlass, Stunfisk, Darmanitan, our mascot Espeon, and Magearna and Mega Absol. So when I saw his team, I was actually kind of surprised that he brought this particular combination, and I was also a little bit excited because he didn't bring Aerodactyl, which meant for me that Landorus T had a chance to do quite a bit of work in this matchup, save for maybe that Frostlass with Ice Shard that needed to be taken care of. But when I was looking at his team, I felt like his most likely lead was going to be Frostlass out of what he had. I could see him potentially leading Stunfisk to set up rocks and stuff, but I was definitely expecting Frostlass as the lead. So I felt like it was in my best interest to lead with Mienshao and go with that, because Mienshao was scarfed and he would outspeed pretty much everything on the team, save maybe like a scarfed Espeon, and having U-turn, we would be able to switch out if it wasn't really a favorable matchup and get some initiative there. So that's how I decided to go ahead and lead in this matchup, and we're gonna go ahead and jump right into things and see how this battle played out. Alright, so like I said, I decided to lead off with Mienshao, expecting him to lead with Frostlass, probably with Focus Sash and Spikes to get those up early game, which I'm not too worried about because my team has a lot of recovery and can kind of laugh off hazard damage. But I send in Mienshao and I think, alright, well, let's just click knock off here because it's gonna potentially Oko Frostlass, and if he switches out, we'll knock off an item on something else. But he stays in, and I actually forget that Focus Sash pops, even though we did use knock off. So he lives, gets up a layer of spikes, which I'm not too worried about, like I said, but I decided to go ahead and click knock off again because if he does switch out, it allows me to knock off an item on something else, or scout if Magearna or Stunfisk is a Z user. And he does go into Magearna. I do click knock off and see that it is in fact a Z user. So here I go ahead and switch into Venusaur because I can't stay in with Mienshao. And Venusaur is really my only mon that can directly switch in on Magearna on any given turn. And he actually ends up doubling into Stunfisk, which is honestly really okay with me. And it gives me an opportunity to get a free Mega Evolve off, which I am fine with, and just click Giga Drain and have a pretty okay move. I know he'll probably try and set up Stealth Rocks or Yawn Me or something like that this turn. But being able to get like 50% on this thing right out of the gate, or more like probably 48, 49, was really nice, and just get straight back up to full health. And he does end up setting up the stealth rocks right then and there. So now I am free to pretty much just click Giga Drain again and not worry about anything. And he goes ahead and switches out, which I kind of expected, and goes into Espeon, which ends up actually being pretty okay for us because we get a free Giga Drain on it. It does a decent amount of damage, and I get to see leftovers, which tells me immediately this thing is probably some type of Calm Mind set. So I go ahead and click Sludge Bomb in case he sets up like a substitute or something like that, because I don't want that happening. And he does just go ahead and click Calm Mind here and goes to +1. So we go ahead and get that Sludge Bomb going, and believe it or not, we actually get the 30% chance to poison, which is really, really nice, and is going to come in clutch here in just a second, because it actually does negate that leftovers damage. So he's at +1 now, and I actually know that I can live a +1 Psyshock or Psychic from full health, so I decided to go ahead and stay in and take the Psychic, and actually go ahead and click Earthquake, which is physical, because I want to be able to get as much damage on it as possible. And it's actually going to be just shy of taking out Espeon, but with that poison that came in so clutch, it is going to be just enough to take out the Espeon. Had we not poisoned this thing, I probably wouldn't have risked staying in like that like I did, but anyway, that ends up working out. We take out Espeon, which is really nice, and here he goes into his Absol, which I know is going to be his chance to go ahead and Mega Evolve. And at this point, unfortunately, we are low enough on health that if I switch Venusaur out and bring it back in, it will die to hazards. So I decided to just go ahead and stay in, because Venusaur is not quite as necessary for our team anymore, because he didn't bring the Tangrowth or the Suicune. And he does end up clicking Dark Pulse, which actually kind of surprised me that he was using a special Dark type move there. But we'll get back into that in just a second. Venusaur goes down, and we go into Mienshao. And this is mainly just to scare the Absol out, because I know he's not going to stay in. So I just go ahead and click U-turn. And he actually makes a really good play here by going into Stunfisk, who one is going to eat up this U-turn. But the other reason this is really good is because he is going to get the 30% chance to static, which is really bad since this is our choice Scarf user. But I can't be too mad about it, because we did get the 30% chance to poison before. But that is a huge deal that we did get staticked there. So here I go ahead and bring in Paper Cut our Kartana, because I'm going to go ahead and plan to click Leaf Blade. I have Lumberry, so if he statics us, it's not a huge deal or anything. And he switches into Magearna here, and I get a free Leaf Blade off, which is really, really nice. So now I am planning to go ahead and click Smart Strike here, and he actually goes ahead and switches into Darmanitan. In hindsight, it was probably a little bit risky to stay in and click Smart Strike, because I don't think that it actually would have KO'd, but getting that damage off would have been nice. We do get it on the Darmanitan though, and I immediately have to switch out, because I know this thing is likely scarfed since he brought it in the way that he did, and I don't want to take anything from that. So we switch into Milotic here to be able to eat up the U-turn. It is our physically defensive wall, and it takes a large chunk of damage. Probably should have went into Landorus to intimidate it first, but we do take that U-turn, and we see him switch into Mega Absol here. So I want to pause right here for a moment, because at this point in the battle, I'm kind of okay with the position that we're in. I mean, we're not necessarily in the best spot we could be in, but we're not in the worst spot either. And I really feel like at this point the battle could have gone either way. But this is the point in the battle where everything starts to take a downward turn for us. And it all really starts with this Mega Absol, because I'm perplexed by this thing, honestly. Like, the last time that Dan sent it in, it used Dark Pulse, which really, really caught me off guard. Now, I know that Mega Absol can use physical and special moves, so I wasn't so much surprised by the fact that he had a special move, but it was more so the fact that based on the rest of his team, I would have really pinned this to be a physical attacking Mon, because other than Mega Absol, the only other real physical threat that he brought was Darmanitan. I mean, I guess technically Frostlass could have had Ice Shard, which would have been threatening to like Landorus, but not really so much to the rest of the team. So I was really shocked to see this thing running a special move, especially a stab special move. And so I'm like, okay, well, what really is this Mega Absol? Because, I mean, the rest of his team is made up mostly of special attackers, it would seem like. So why would he be running this thing as a fully special attacker? But when he brings it in on Melodic, I'm even more confused, because now if he's partially a physical attacker, he's risking getting Scald Burn, which would be a hindrance to him. So I'm really just like, this thing must be a special attacker. I mean, it doesn't really make that much sense to me right now, but I guess that's the way it must be. So now I'm like, well, what's it gonna go for here? Like, I guess it can just go for a special move. That's really all I can see it going for. I mean, it might go for some type of status move, but I know it doesn't get Nasty Plot, so I'm not thinking anything about it setting up, because, you know, it's one of those things where Mega Absol doesn't get Nasty Plot. I don't really understand that, but it doesn't, and I'm kind of okay with that. But at the same time, I was like, I don't see it really setting up or anything, and I don't know what else it would do besides go for a special move. So I decided to go ahead and just click Recover on this turn to kind of scout out what he does, and, you know, heal back some damage if he does something, you know, really more or less just to see if he has any trick up his sleeve that I wasn't expecting. So I click Recover, and sure enough, he does have something up his sleeve I didn't expect, which is Calm Mind. And to be completely honest, I didn't realize that Mega Absol got Calm Mind. I knew that it didn't get Nasty Plot, but the fact that it got Calm Mind completely caught me off guard here. Like, somehow that slipped through my research. So now he is sat here and set up on me. He is at +1 in special attack and special defense. I've recovered, so I'm back at full health. But honestly, I'm like, okay, well, this is a bad position to be in, because now, whereas before I could have switched me in Xiaoyan, which wouldn't have been a terrible play, maybe. Now I can't even do that, because now he's at +1. Switching in Mian Xiao now, he is too frail to be able to take this hit, so that's definitely not a possibility. And so I'm like, okay, what's going on? What can this thing do right here? And at this point, I've kind of started to get tunnel vision to an extent. Like, I've kind of lost sight of like what's going on with the rest of his team, what's going on with the rest of my team. Like, I am completely enamored by the fact that this Absol has just used Calm Mind, and I totally didn't expect that, especially considering the fact that his Espeon also had Calm Mind. This man brought 2 Calm Mind users. That's absolutely wild. But anyway, so I'm running through my mind like, what can I do here? He just Calm Mind, and I'm thinking, you know what? I think he gets access to Charge Beam and stuff like that, and even if he doesn't, this would be a good time for him to go for an attack here. And so in my mind, I'm like, what can I do? If he attacks me here, it's gonna do a considerable amount of damage, especially since I'm physically defensive this time around. And all of a sudden I get this impulse decision, because time is running out, obviously. I get this impulse decision and I click a move. And I will say this up front, as soon as I clicked the move, I was like, this was probably a mistake. But little did I realize that this was the worst possible play that I could have made on this turn, because I clicked the move Mirror Coat. And this is the worst possible move I could have picked at this moment for a couple different reasons. The main reason being that Mega Absol is immune to Mirror Coat. Now, I know that Dark types are immune to Psychic type moves, but in this moment right now, I am so just taken back that I'm not even thinking about that. Like, I guess part of it too is the fact that Mirror Coat does a set amount of damage. Like, it doesn't check weaknesses and resistances. Like, the amount of damage it does is based off of the amount of damage dealt. So because it doesn't check weaknesses and resistances, I wasn't even thinking about immunities or anything like that. And on top of that, like, whenever I put Mirror Coat on Melodic, I had no intention at all of like having to click it against Absol. Like, that wasn't even a thought in my mind. I brought Mirror Coat for things like Espeon, Magearna, Tangrowth. I didn't intend to even like have the thought of using it on this Absol, and honestly, it just completely slips my mind that this thing is immune. The other reason that this was a really bad move was because I know that he has Calm Mind, that he's going for it, and so right now there's a possibility of him going for another Calm Mind because he just set one up on me, and if I click Mirror Coat right now and it's too early to reveal it. Now, keep in mind that this is even if Mirror Coat would work, it wouldn't have been a great time to use it, because if he does Calm Mind again, the move's just not going to work, and I've also lost the element of surprise. So it was just a terrible move to click all around. One, it wouldn't have worked anyway, but even if it had have worked, it wasn't really an ideal time to use it. But like I said, at this point, I had started getting tunnel vision and didn't know what I was doing. So I just clicked the move. And yeah, sure enough, what does he do? He goes for another Calm Mind. So now he is at +2 in both of his special stats. And I just clicked Mirror Coat, which obviously just says that it fails, right? And that's actually a big thing that plays into the next few turns as well, is because he went for Calm Mind there and I clicked Mirror Coat, I didn't get a message telling me that Absol was immune to Mirror Coat. So in my mind, like I've already forgotten the fact that he's not immune to it, and so I'm just like, oh man, now he knows I have Mirror Coat. This is a problem. Meanwhile, I'm sure he's over here like, why did you just click Mirror Coat? That doesn't work. And I'm just sitting here like, I don't know what's going on. And because he clicked Calm Mind, I don't realize that he's immune. Like, if he had gone for an attack there and I had clicked Mirror Coat, I would have at least got the message that says this doesn't affect Absol, and I would have been like, oh shoot, Mirror Coat doesn't affect Absol. But no, he went for Calm Mind, so I still don't realize. So now he's at +2, and I'm like, well, now that he knows I have Mirror Coat, this gives him even more reason to just set up another Calm Mind. And so I'm like, I'm not just going to click Mirror Coat again. That would be wasteful. So I think at this moment, my safest play is to just click Recover. And at this point, I'm not even thinking about dealing damage to him like directly with like Scald or anything. I'm just like, I think I have to click Recover. I expect him to Calm Mind here, but if he does go for a move, at least then I'll recover back up and I'll have an idea of how much damage he's doing. So I go ahead and click Recover this turn, and sure enough, he sets up the third Calm Mind, and I'm like, okay, this is the game that we're playing. This is the game that we're playing. I didn't really accomplish anything that turn, but if he had have attacked me, at least I would have been able to recover up, I guess. At least that's where my mind was. Like I said, I'm in such tunnel vision mode at this point, I don't know what's going on. So he's at +3 in both of his special stats. So at this point, I'm like, I feel like I have nothing to lose at this now. I just have to like let this thing, I think just have to let my Milotic go down. I think that's it. There might be a chance, like if he goes for a move now, there might be a chance that I live and we might throw it back with Mirror Coat and destroy this thing. But I don't know. I just feel like my Milotic has to go down now. So I just click Mirror Coat for the giggles at this point, like just on the off chance that we live something. I'm in such tunnel vision right now that I'm not even thinking about the fact that he still has his Magearna and the fact that he could potentially baton pass these Calm Minds to that Magearna. Like, that's not even a thought to me in this moment, because I'm just so drawn into this Absol right now that like, and the thing is, I knew that Mega Absol got baton pass, so I kind of should have seen this coming when he started setting up Calm Minds, but just the Calm Mind in general caught me so off guard, it just threw me completely for a loop. And so I click Mirror Coat this turn, and he baton passes, and I'm all of a sudden I snap back into reality right here in this moment. I'm like, he's going into Magearna. Oh, goodness. So obviously my Mirror Coat fails that turn. At this point, I've still basically not realized. I don't even realize till after the battle is over that clicking Mirror Coat all those times wouldn't do anything. You know, so he sends in this Magearna, and I'm like, okay, so he's got a Magearna now who is at +3. And at this point, I'm actually starting to begin to think logically now, like, okay, now what am I going to do in this situation? And I realize that at +3, I can't just freely switch in to anything at this point, really, because switching in on anything on a +3 move from a Magearna is going to pretty much take its life. So I'm trying to think, like what are the possibilities here? And the only thing that, you know, slightly makes sense here is that I could, I guess, just click Mirror Coat, let my Milotic go down, and get a clean switch into something else. So I'm just like, I got nothing to lose here. I'll just click Mirror Coat. I doubt we're gonna live anything at this point, but especially with it being a Magearna. But if we do, we might throw back a Mirror Coat. If not, we go down, we get a clean switch into something else. So I click a Mirror Coat, and he makes the absolute smart play and clicks Shift Gears, which now means that he is faster than the majority of my team, and of course my Mirror Coat fails. So in hindsight, I probably should have clicked Ice Beam there and at least had a chance to freeze him. But anyway, he decides to go ahead and just use his Z move, which is going to guarantee destroy my Milotic. And at this point, it's pretty much, I realize it's pretty much game over. I have just let this man set up and baton pass to Magearna, which is already a scary mon to deal with, but with all those Calm Minds passed to it was a problem. So at this point, I'm just pretty much like, all right, we'll take a chance. We'll see what we can do. So I go into Glitch because I know this is probably my only real chance of outspeeding, and this is kind of my last hope at like a very last ditch effort here. So I go into Glitch and click Thunderbolt, hoping that I would outspeed. I thought I might. And hoping that, honestly, we might get a paralysis there, but we don't. He Dazzling Gleams us. My Glitch is going to go down, and at this point, this puts him at like +5, I think, if I'm counting everything correctly. And I'm just pretty much going into my fastest mons now, hoping that they might somehow outspeed. But at this point, I'm feeling pretty confident that we're going to go down. And he uses Synchronize on Kartana, outspeeds, all that good stuff. Which, by the way, shout out for using Synchronize, because that's something that hardly ever gets used, so that's kind of fun. So I appreciate that. That's some good stuff. But yeah, at this point, I just continue to send in my mons and let them go down, because yeah, I can't outspeed at this point, and that would be my only hope of winning. So we're just gonna let Magearna go ahead and wipe out the rest of my team. And man, this was such an insane battle. Like I said, honestly, a lot of this had to do with just being rusty and out of season. I forgot about how the focus sash thing worked, which wasn't a huge deal in this battle, in my opinion. But forgetting about Mirror Coat not working on Mega Absol was the big thing in this battle that really was the problem. So we end up losing 5-0 in week 1, or 0-5 in week 1, which is really rough and really bad. But on a brighter note, at least if we were gonna lose that bad, it was in week 1. Like if I'm gonna screw up that terribly, I would rather it be like early in the season. And this is kind of just like a wake-up call that, like, I gotta refresh myself a little bit. Like I'm definitely out of touch. And like I said, if I had realized that, you know, Mirror Coat wasn't, you know, he was immune to Mirror Coat, if I hadn't forgot about that, I probably would have played out those turns differently, and we might have had a closer match. But it is what it is. It happened. So all I can do now is kind of laugh about it, and at least I can say that I didn't let Espeon, my own mascot, take any lives. I took out my mascot, so I got that going for me, I guess. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this battle. I hope you could get a laugh out of this battle, because honestly, like, after this match was over, I couldn't do anything but laugh, especially when Dan was like, why did you click Miracle twice? Like, he had to mention it to me, which I'm glad he did afterwards, because I might not have ever even realized it had he not said anything. So that was good. A good reminder that I need to refresh myself on a few mechanics and stuff. But anyway, like I said, hope you guys did enjoy the battle. If you did, be sure to hit that like button down below. And we're just definitely going to try and turn things around for the rest of the season. We got nowhere to go but up. And look on the bright side. I think Dan had like the #1 ranked team based on the draft anyway. So we were destined to lose, I guess. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna make it like an average and get out of here for now. So have yourselves a wonderful day. Stay cool. We will catch you guys later.